Don't fucking run away from me! Bitch!
Welcome to a video on how to get good at the BFN All-Star, perhaps the strongest zombie outside of a loaded space station. Players who are able to utilize this hulking powerhouse will be able to shred through any team like a knife through butter. Let's get started. The All-Star is a class capable of highly devastating power and protection for his teammates. His primary consists of a highly powerful football cannon that functions like a minigun in that it takes a moment to rev up before it can be fired. Once fully revved, the football cannon shoots out highly powerful footballs at 9.5 rounds per second, with each shot dealing 7 damage for a normal hit and 8.4 damage for a critical, making him able to shred through most plants like a sheet of fucking paper, as thanks to it not only having near hit scan speed but also no damage drop off. You can translate this damage output to almost the entire fucking map, with the only thing stopping you is the weapon's rather poor accuracy. However, such power comes at a great cost, as whilst firing or revving up the football cannon you are slowed down by 50% and cannot jump, making you a very easy target for cacti and pea gatlings, so be sure to avoid large open spaces whenever possible. You can however rev up the football cannon whilst in midair, allowing you to retain the normal movement speed for a brief moment, making this an excellent choice to surprise opponents around corners before unleashing a barrage of footballs straight into their fucking skull. If however the football cannon is used too much, then it will overheat, making it unable to be used for several seconds, so be sure to fire in controlled bursts as to avoid running into this problem. Moving on to his abilities, the first of which is the infamous Imp Punt. Whilst the Imp Punt is not as bullshit as it once was, only dealing 100 damage at most, it still has a rather generous splash radius, making it very useful as a tool to either force plants off objectives or to initiate fights with a huge burst of damage. The Imp Punt can also be thrown directly at the floor, making it a perfect tool to save yourself from burrowing chompers, provided that you've lowered their health enough before then. Happy trolling those piranha plant rejects. The second ability is the Sprint Tackle. This functions identical to the Garden Warfare 2 counterpart, except it no longer goes through plants, instead stopping at the degenerate you have just connected with, dealing 75 damage whilst flinging them into the fucking sky. Like the Imp Punt, this shit can be used for initiating fights with a burst of damage, but can also be used as a mobility tool in the form of speed ghosting, for if you jump repeatedly after using the Sprint Tackle, you can keep its momentum for a few seconds, making it easy to escape or chase after opponents, or to cover a lot of ground in a moment's notice. The last ability is a Dummy Shield. This is your form of protection for both yourself and your idiotic teammates, as this massive dome shield can sponge up to 300 damage, lasts up to 15 seconds, and is quite massive in size, making it useful for either blocking huge amounts of damage or to cross high areas of traffic safety. One thing to be careful of however is that the dummy in the center of the shield is the weak spot of the shield, with it only having 75 health, so be sure to keep this in mind when against high burst damage characters such as Snapdragon. Now, onto All-Star's weaknesses. As mentioned earlier, using the football cannon makes you a very easy target to hit due to your massive hitbox and reduced movement. All-Star's weapon is also generally inconsistent at longer ranges due to the poor accuracy. Another weakness is that the weapon is susceptible to overheating if used too frequently, making it unable to be used for several seconds and basically makes you defenseless. His last weakness is that the football cannon does take a moment before it can fire, making it very easy for you to be ambushed and taken down before your weapon can actively fire. Now, take all of what I just said as his weaknesses and toss them aside, because the build that I am going to suggest practically nullifies many of his weaknesses. The build consists of tennis skills, spin class, and the health regeneration delay upgrade. Tennis skills completely removes all penalties that are normally applied when using the football cannon, allowing you to move at full speed as well as jump when using it. Spin class makes your football cannon respond almost instantly, making it very quickly rev up and be ready to fire. And the regeneration delay upgrade makes you gain back your health much sooner, which for a class with 200 health is very handy. Thanks to this guide, you will now be able to use a class that is meant to have more weaknesses than a crippled turtle, but nullify next to all of them thanks to your upgrades. Be sure to come back for the next episodes next week. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more shit like this. Have fun.